Okay, hey everyone, welcome to an episode of On Point EDC. Today we have a really cool review for you guys from the brand Tactile Turn. A little about them: they were founded back in 2012 out of the good old US of A by Will Hodges. And essentially he is obsessed with making things that last a lifetime. And they're also even warranted a lifetime, which is pretty outstanding. Now, all of these products are hand machined in Garland, Texas. And in terms of type of product, this is a custom pen. Some key characteristics and styling, which you're looking for something within this space. Of course, you're going to find that unique design, that fun, fidgetable actuation, as well as the use of premium materials and construction. This is going to go for $119 direct as configured. Of course, there are some bells and whistles you can add. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm impressed. This is their clip action pen, and it's essentially their take on the clip actuated bolt action pen with a unique bent clip. Now, if you guys are fans of the channel, you've seen me review quite a few models from this brand over the years. I mean, dating back to the very beginning of the channel when I first started exploring the EDC space. So it's really great to kind of see the evolution of this brand and really see them continue to go strength to strength. So with all that said, let's go ahead and zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, now before we dive in, quick customary wristwatch check. Today I have on my SLA 079 Marine Master 300. This was actually my most worn watch of last year, as per, Teddy's annual creator roundup. And it is recently been actually discontinued and is being replaced with a more up-spec model. But I have to say, this one really does it for me here, and it's a great example, I think a great pairing with Tactile Turn because of course, Seiko's in-house manufacturing prowess, as well as, their contributions to the iconography around certain dive watches, them being there and being innovators within the space. The same can be said for Tactile Turn when it comes into the world of bolt action EDC pens. And of course, they had very humble beginnings, but we've seen them evolve quite a bit. So again, in terms of that brand equity that they've built and that goodwill within the community, again, I'd say pairs very well with Seiko, and just as good as I feel wearing this, even though I know it is, of course, more of a niche thing for non-watch aficionados. Same goes for pens, right? There's going to be people that really only know kind of the mainstream historical bigger brands, and that maybe don't know about more enthusiast-driven brands here. So for those of you that are new to the channel, here's what the packaging looks like. Pretty minimalist, as you guys can see, but it absolutely does the job. So that is the unboxing and reboxing experience there. Let's take a look at this piece, though. Very, very nice. If I can get the there we go. Look at that focus. Look at that. So full titanium construction here, and then you do have that short length here. So this is not the standard size, this is the slightly shorter size, which is typically what I appreciate when I do go with these models, because I find the shorter length more pocketable, although the longer length is going to make it more of something that would, more typical to a traditional pen that, you may keep at your desk versus one that you would actually pocket carry. Now, this is 5.1 inches long, and it has about a 10.6 millimeter thickness in terms of that gauge. So this is not one of their slim models. This is actually a more robust kind of old school feel to their typical builds. Now, when I say slim, for those of you that might be, again, a little newer to the channel, this is the more slim layout. These are two of their more recent releases. We have the slim side click, says it all, and then the slim smooth operator. So a bolt action, and then, again, there's other points of actuation, but you can see there's a lot of visual iconography that does carry over, whether it be, that bent clip, or of course the beautiful machining, and then the nice stoned washed accenting there on the clip. So if you guys are interested in these pens, I'd say these are two outstanding options, and definitely check the channel history for more information on them. But today I'm going to focus on this, which is really a fantastic evolution within the space here. I really do like this. And it just takes me back, again, to the early days of collecting these pens when things still felt pretty signature and innovative. Now everything is kind of a variation or a take on something else. So it is nice to see something that, hey, look, they added a bit of flair to it while still keeping a lot of familiarity when it comes to, of course, the shaft there. This, again, quite iconic to the brand, but then adding something that is new, like the action feels familiar, but the fact that it is integrated into the clip there is something new for them. And this space was kind of dominated by a few brands that were doing these integrations, many that have come and gone over the years. So it's nice to see, again, a perennial kind of hit maker come out with something within the space that I think is quite impressive. So I am a lefty, which is why my, watch is on the other wrist. But I will say the ergonomics are quite nice. Even with the thicker gauge, it just feels more robust and really gives you that overbuilt feel. And of course, as a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine, I'm always thinking of weapons of opportunity. So if something needs to go down, the level of, tactile engagement, the purchase on this flat end here feels really good to where if I did need to use this as a weapon of opportunity, of course, this would not be my weapon of choice, but it's nice to have something and not need it versus the other way around. The fidget factor is lovely, even for a lefty there, which I know it's not designed for me. It'd be more so designed for guys to fidget with it with their right hand, which also works. And even though I'm less coordinated with this hand, I have to say still quite fidgetable. Now the in-hand feel, very nice. Feels quite good. Again, not overly thick, but at the same time, that extra gauge in the thickness, that extra millimeter or so, definitely goes a long way. So very smooth, very balanced. The action is very nice, and you can see that they even do a bit of texturing there to make sure that that is something that does catch the finger, because this is a bit smooth here on this nice fine stonewashed finish there. I do enjoy the contrast, same way I enjoy a nice little, heavy beveling. Oh, actually, let me give it a quick little wipe there. Sorry about that. The same way I enjoy, contrasting finishes when I wear a nice timepiece, right? So you have that nice wide bevel. Oh, camera, there we go. Nice wide bevel against the satin. Look at that. That is just quite immaculate. So here you have the machine finish here, of course, very clean, very crisp, and then you have this very smooth stonewash finish, which is going to be a lot more neutral and less, less dynamic. Than look at this. The way that it plays with the light is very, very impressive. So some other things to note. Again, the more robust, overbuilt feel that comes with this, again, is more confidence inspiring. And then also when it comes to in pocket, now it's not going to have as deep a carry as something like their smooth operator. That is fully deep carry, but I will say that's more of an EDC carry, whereas something like this, right, which is going to be more similar for more of a traditional carry. You want it to be easy to draw out of the pocket, and by you having a little bit more exposed here out of your pocket means that, so it would be basically exposed up to that point, so you would have more space to draw, right? And of course you're going to have that nice grip there so that you can draw out from the pocket. So great for retrieval. It's not going to be writing as quite as low and as low profile, but again, something like this I think looks great, and I wouldn't mind again having quality just peeking out of of my pocket there. I mean, that's a nice bit of kit to look at, and I can appreciate that. Now, It is still semi-discreet though, right? Like this isn't some shouty thing, and you probably could make it pretty shouty, right, with some anodization or you know, maybe some customization as well. But I will say that this is still nice and monochromatic generally and quite low key. Now, in terms of model variants, this is also available in standard length, which is going to be slightly longer, as well as fully stonewashed, so you could get this machined portion stonewashed to match the stonewashed finish. It does look very cool. It still is going to have the machining underneath, but it's not going to have this more you know, polished aesthetic to it, where it's going to be quite as dynamic in the light. Now, you can also get it in a DLC finish at an additional cost as well. So you can make this quite low key. I do like, again, the more iconic styling here, where you have the machined with that also still just the touch of the stonewash finish. Now, in terms of comparable models, guys, there are a lot of bolt action pens on the market today, but few that feel quite this well designed and executed. Tactile Turn really remains a top tier option within this highly competitive space. Are there more expensive pens? Absolutely. There are some that aren't even built this fine. Are there more expensive pens that are built better? Sure. But in terms of the you know, the return on investment, in terms of the value, it's similar to a mechanical timepiece, right? Like, is this, you know, it's specs wise, are there watches that cost more, that are more elevated? Sure. But I mean, are they worth 3, 4, 5 times as much as this? It's tough to say. Similar for this pen, there are going to be more expensive, more niche, more, you know, street cred pens out there, sure. But again, this is more of that sweet spot, that enthusiast sweet spot, well known enough and accessible enough to have great customer experience, to have support, to have you know, a lot of published information about them, but at the same time still kind of within that niche in-house, you know, creator driven space, where you're going to get something that feels still quite special, and I can appreciate that. So for me, guys, bottom line, Tactile Turn are one of the brands that really started it all, so it's great to see them continue to build new iconography within this space after all of these years. And for those of you that, again, might just be here for a pen review and are like, well, what about the way it writes? Guys, the shell is what you're buying. The refill, it probably flashed across the screen earlier, but you're going to be able to get this with that Schmidt Easy Flow 9000 medium width there, and that's specific to the shorter length. And then you can definitely check the site links down in the description if you want more information. Again, this is more about the body, about the actuation, the build, the design, than it is about the refill. That's one of the nice things about this EDC, you know, kind of custom pen body space, is that you can find your favorite refill and pair it with your favorite body. And yeah, Tactile Turn don't make the refills, they make the bodies. So with that said, let me know what you all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.